Greetings, it's Iain from RTO here. Welcome to another album ranking and welcome to the marathon. As on Wednesdays on the channel, this is where we do the big catalogues. Today we're doing a request, which is basically people on a discussion on the live stream. I was having a chat about this band and it was concluded that we need to do an album ranking. So the band we're talking about is Irish rock band U2. Big fan at the beginning of their career, sort of waned a little bit, I'm afraid. I have discovered a couple of their later albums I like, so I've added them, but I haven't got them all. I stopped buying. You'll find out when I start buying them. But their early part of their career, I think they were a terrific band. Band, of course, is Bono, The Edge, Adam Clayton, and Larry Mullen Jr. They all met at school at Mount Temple Comprehensive School, and they've been making music ever since. I mean, that's pretty cool that they were formed in 1976 and they've never had anyone else in it. Well, that's 45, 46 years worth of being in a band. That's terrific. I mean, I think they'll probably, if they carry on, I think they'll beat that 50 years as ZZ Top with the same band. And rightly so. Okay, I'm not very keen on what they do these days, but that's great that they're still together. So in that period they have released 14 albums, quite a few live albums we've looked at. So here we go. So coming in at number 14, we go to the 9th album, released in 1997, Pop. Well, first track, Discotheque. The only thing I like about this is the end, when it's finished. I don't like the track at all. Do you feel loved? The drums, I don't know what they did to Larry Mullen's drums on this, but it sounds terrible. It just doesn't sound right. Mofo. I think with this album, the further you get in, the worse tracks get. This is just drivel. I've got no time for that track at all. If God Will Send His Angels. Okay, this one isn't too bad. It sort of resembles a U2 track. Staring at the Sun. Oh, again, they're just rehashing stuff they've done before. They're plagiarising their own songs here, and it just doesn't sound right. Last Night on Earth. Again, the drumming is terrible. The production on it. What's going on? Gone. Oh, it's one of the better ones. Well, I'll say about that one. Miami, just a total noise. Just doesn't comprehend anything. The Playboy Mansion, it's okay. If You Wear That Velvet Dress, just a dull and dreary. Please. Bono sounds flat as a pancake. And Wake Up Dead Man is just an awful track. I hate this album. It's awful. I've only ever played it 3 times ever, and I've played it 3 times in the last, since we started. I first done this when I did the Then and Now on U2. That's the first time I'd heard it, and I've only ever played it 3 times. I was just trying to find some love for it and I couldn't. I do like 3 tracks. I don't know what they were trying to be, a pop band, a disco band, but it just didn't work. They're a rock band, for God's sakes. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 2 out of 10. Just for turning up and putting 3 tracks that were barely resemblant of a song album. Okay, then coming in at number 13, this is the 8th album, and this was the last U2 album I ever bought. It's Zooropa, released in 1993. Opens up with Zooropa. This is one of the tracks on the album I actually do like. I think it's quite ambient. It's got some nice delicate touches on the edge. I don't mind this. Babyface. Well, this is so dull it sends you to sleep. Numb. Oh. I just don't know what's going on with this band at the time. This just doesn't sound anything like the U2 I love. It's an awful track. Lemon, probably one of the most annoying tracks that U2 ever did. It was just disastrous. Stay Far Away, So Close. One of the better tracks on here. I like that one. Daddy's Gonna Pay for Your Crash Car. It's just a load of dribble. There's nothing to say. I can say good about that. I tried to listen to it, but no. Some days are better than others. Why are they using drum machines when you've got a great drummer in Larry Mullen Jr.? The first time, at long last, we had a proper track that you can say, that's U2. It is the best track on the album. And it just sounds like U2, and it is really good. Dirty Day, horrible drum mix, horrible everything. It's just bleh. The Wanderer. This features Johnny Cash, and the best thing about this song is Johnny Cash singing. It's not bad. And now another album that I just don't play off. I think I've played it 3 times. Again, I've only played it 3 times, and some of them were recently. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 3 out of 10. Now, I know there's people out there that are going to like these albums, but unfortunately, I'm old school U2. That's just the way it is. But them 2 albums are just the worst 2 albums I ever put out. Okay, it gets a little bit better moving into on. So coming in at number 12, we have the 14th and most current album, released in 2017, Songs of Experience. Love Is All We Have Left. It's okay. It's got some nice textures on it, but I wouldn't say it's brilliant. Lights of Home. This one isn't too bad, I suppose. It's listenable. You're the Best Thing About Me has got some nice touches of the old days in here, especially the drums on it. At least Larry Mullen's playing the drums properly on it. It's not too bad. I can live with that one. Get Out of Your Own Way. It's rather mediocre. It just doesn't do anything. American Soul, never liked Bono's political stances. I hate to hear political driven songs. I'm not interested. But the only thing about this one is heavy. No, I don't mind it because it's heavy. Forget the words, just it's quite a heavy track. Summer of Love is just very wishy-washy. Red Flag Day, just mediocre, not very good. The Showman, it's just ordinary. It doesn't stand out and go, yeah, this is a great track. The Little Things That You Give Away, again, they don't know if they want to be a rock band, a pop band, a dance band, a disco band or anything. It just does nothing for me. Landlady, again, is just mediocre, generic poppy rock. The Blackout, I like this track. It's probably the best track on the album. I can go with that one. Love is bigger than anything on its way. It's not too bad either. It's got a good little tune. I don't mind that. And 13. Oh, this is dour. Oh dear. I think this band have really lost their way now. I don't know what they want to do. Why don't they just go back to doing what they were good at? You don't need to be pretentious. Just go out there and play rock. The style of rock that you did and made you very successful. There are some good songs, a couple of good songs on here, but not by much. It's a little bit more listenable though, so I'll give this an RTO ranking of 5 out of 10. This must be the most brutal ranking I've ever done. But I assure you now it starts getting a little bit better. So coming in at number 11, we have the 12th album released in 2009, No Line on the Horizon. The most dullest cover in the world, but that's by the by. First track, No Line on the Horizon. I like this. It's a really catchy tune. Some really good drumming from Larry. And the bass line from Adam is proper U2 bass line. It's really, really good. And I like that track. Magnificent. Sounds more like a White Stripes song than a U2 song, but it's a good song. I don't mind that. Moment of Surrender. The vocal on this from Bono is not very good. It sort of tones it down because musically it sounds really good. I like that track as a music piece, but Bono's vocal is a little bit off kilter. Unknown Caller. Now this sounds like U2, but unfortunately, like most singers, U2, Bono's vocals, he can't hit some of them high notes as he used to. But on the whole, it's a pretty solid U2 track. I'll go crazy if you don't. I'll go crazy if you don't go crazy tonight. It's very confusing. Again, they don't know what they want to do. I think sometimes they're trying to be a band that they're not, and it doesn't work, and it just sort of gets lost. Get on Your Boots. A great rocker this is. That riff from The Edge is good old fashioned Edge riffing. It's not a bad track. Even Bono sounds pretty good on this. It's proper rock stuff, and I like that track. Stand-up comedy. Good track. It's a proper U2 track again. A great vocal from Bono. If he sings within his range and what he's comfortable with, he can still sing. But when he tries and goes to them high notes, it's not working anymore. But that is a solid track. Fez, Being Born. Don't know what that's all about. It's just a load of noise. White as Snow. It's pretty good. It's not brilliant, but it's listenable, and you know it's U2, which is the most important thing. Breathe. It's not bad. But Bono just struck a little bit on them high notes. It's a shame because he was a good singer, and I think he's pretty good if he keeps within his range. I don't mind that one. And Cedars of Lebanon. This is dreary as they come. Fall asleep material. I think they sound really good on this as the band. Larry, The Edge and Adam are on fire. But it's Bono's vocals are a little bit off kilter in places, and I'm not having a go at him for that. He is getting older. All he's got to do, I think, is just not try and sing high. Keep within your range, and I think this would even be a better album if you did. But on the whole, I was quite surprised with this one, and I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 5.5. Okay, then coming in at number 10, we got the 13th album, released in 2014, Songs of Innocence. This opens up with The Miracle of Joey Ramone. Oh, this is great. My favourite track on the album. It's got some nice riffs here. The edge is really strong on this. The drumming's good. Solid track. Like that one a lot. Every Breaking Wave. Again, I like this track. I'd never heard this album up until a few months ago. It's pretty decent. Sounds like a U2 track. Got that U2 sound to it. Yeah, I can go with that one. California, There Is No End to Love. Great Adam Clayton bass line on this. Solid. I do like that one. Song for Someone. It's not it's not memorable. Iris, Hold Me Close. It's not the best song, but at least it's got a nice beat to it. Volcano, Adam Clayton. Great bass. Great drumming from Larry Mullen. Tight as they come, them two. Really know exactly what each other's doing. It really starts to sing, and then Bono starts to sing and sort of ruins it a little bit. Raised by Wolves. Nothing special going on there. It's just filler for me. Cedarwood Road. Bono sounds flat as a pancake. Musically, it's brilliant, but Bono sounds flat as a pancake again. Sleep Like a Baby Tonight. Some nice guitar work here from The Edge. He is a terrific guitar player, and he really shines on that one. This is Where You Can Reach Me Now. It's very poppy, and it doesn't do anything for me. The Troubles. This is brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant. This features a singer called Lucky Lee, and it's a duo with Bono. Nice arrangement. She takes all the high notes, he stays in his range, and it's great. And it's got a great guitar solo from The Edge. Terrific track. These last 2 or 3 albums, this is the better of them, one of the better ones. I think it's a half decent album actually. I was very surprised, and I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 6 out of 10. Have a slip of coffee. Okay, then coming at number 9, we have the 10th album that was released in the year 2000, All That You Can't Leave Behind. Opens up with Beautiful Day. I love this. I loved it when I first heard it. It's a catchy rock pop song, and it's one of the better songs from the later years. It is a terrific song. Stuck in the Moment, You Can't Get Out of It. I like this track as well. It's quite pleasant. Nice listen. Elevation. Again, it's a bit poppy, but I do love Adam Clayton's bass line, which really adds to the track. I think if it weren't for that bass line, it'd be a bit ordinary, but I think Adam's work on that really gives it a little bit of oomph, and it's not a bad track. Walk On, not too bad. What makes this track though is the guitar work from The Edge. Terrific stuff. Kite, again, some great guitar work here from The Edge. Some lovely touches on that. Really strong track. In a Little While, one of the weaker tracks on this. I'm not too keen on. I think this is where Bono's voice started to crack a little. So I'm not too keen on that one. Wild Honey is a nice acoustic number here. And I think the vocals from Bono are pretty good. It's a really good track. Peace on Earth. I think this is good. They've actually kept the tune in line so Bono doesn't have to strain his voice. And he does a fine performance on that. It's a really good track. When I Look at the World, proper U2 here. Nice to hear a proper U2 track with that nice, the great drums from Larry, the guitar work from Edge, and that lovely bass from Adam, and a good vocal from Bono. Excellent track. New York, I don't like this. This is a spoken sort of track. It's awful. When I first heard this album, I was quite surprised because I hadn't heard up until when I did the Then and Now on YouTube. I'd never heard this album, and it's starting to sound. It did sound like a U2 album, harking back to the good old days. And I've now actually put this into my Spotify library, so yeah, it's grown on me, this one. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. Okay then, coming in at number 8, we go to the 11th album, released in 2004, How to Dismantle an Atomic Bang and Bomb. Bang, bomb. First track, Vertigo. When I first heard this, obviously back in 2004, I thought, wow, U2 are starting to sound like U2 again, and I like that track. Miracle Drug. Again, this is going really back to proper U2. It's a really strong track, some great guitar work, quite heavy in places. Great track. Sometimes you can't get it on your own. What's going on here? It's dull and boring again. Monotonous, fall asleep. Some music doesn't do anything for me. Love and Peace or Else. Very catchy riff this is. Great drumming from Larry. Solid track, I do like that one. City of Blinding Lights. This really reminds me of when they started out. The riffs, the bass line, the drumming. This is like plug and go in the 21st century. It is really good. I love that track. All Because of You. Great little rocker. Nice guitar work from the Edge, and that solid bass line from Adam that drives the song along. A Man and a Woman. Again, this has got some great bass work from Adam. Larry Mullen is brilliant on it as well. Crumbs Under Your Table. Great track. Modern U2 doing rock. Not pop, rock. Solid drumming from Larry Mullen on this. Brilliant stuff. One Step Closer. Again, the guitar work on this is really good. Great track. Origin of Species. Fine guitar solo from the Edge on that. I do love it, and it's a great vocal from Bono. Then we got You Were. This is great. Just a solid rock track. A good way to end this album. I think this is the best album since Achtung Baby, and I think it is their best album of the what I call the newer period. It's got everything on there that's U2. There's no experimentation. It's just solid rock all the way through. when I first heard this, when I was a few months ago, it automatically went into my Spotify library because I just think this is terrific. You know, I wish I'd have brought it at the time now, because I think it is a terrific album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.5. So now we move up into the U2 that I love. The bottom half was easy to put together, but it was that top three that, well, top excluding number one, the rest fitting in just where I wanted it. It took a little while because these albums I play to death because they are brilliant. So coming in at number 7, we have the hybrid live studio album, Rattle and Hum. It was released in October 1988. So first track on here is a live version of Helter Skelter. It's alright. Van Diemen's Land, like this song. It's really good. Then we get Desire, good track, bluesy harmonica, excellent track. Then we get my favourite track on this album, Hawk Moon 269. I love Bono's vocal on this, and the drumming from Larry Mullen is good, and some great little riffs here from The Edge. Terrific track. All Along the Watchtower, yeah, it's alright. Then you get a live version of I've Still Got What I Haven't Found What I'm Looking For. Then we get Freedom From Our People. This is one of them studio interludes that was probably done in the back of a bus. Then we get Silver and Gold, which is pretty good. Pride in the Name of Love, the live version of that. Angel of Harlem, like this. Love the brass in this. Groovy little track, love that. Love Rescue Me, great little song from Bono and Bob Dylan. Great little duo on that, it's fantastic, really like that. When Love Comes to Town, the brilliant song they did with B.B. King, terrific stuff. Heartland, lovely bass line in this from Adam Clayton. Nice guitar touches from The Edge, excellent track. God Part 2, another brilliant bit of bass work here from Adam Clayton. Great drumming from Larry Mullen. What did I say? Larry Clayton? Adam Clayton. Then we get the Star Spangled Banner and Bite the Bullet, one of my favourite songs by the band, but that's from, won't go too much into that. All I Want Is You, a good track, very Beatlesque, but pretty cool. This is a good album, but I don't like how it's the live tracks and the studio tracks are just mixed up all over the place. What they should have done is do one album of the live stuff and one album of the studio stuff. I think it would have been a bit more continuity. But on the whole, I like listening to the album. I'll put it on quite a lot, so I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. Okay, then coming in at number 6, we go back to 1981 for the second album, October. First track, Gloria. Love this track. Classic. Adam Clayton bass line and lovely touches on the guitar from The Edge. Always a firm favourite with me. I Fall Down, bass line from Adam on this is absolutely brilliant. One of the best deep cut tracks from U2, I think. Then we get I Threw a Brick at a Window, my favourite track on this album. One of my favourite tracks all time of U2. I loved The Edge's guitar work on this. Terrific, sublime stuff. Excellent. Rejoice. Again, this is quite punky. Really heavy as well. Great drumming here. Great guitar work. Love this. Then we get Fire. Very quirky. The drumming from Larry Mullen on this is brilliant, and a fantastic vocal from Bono on that one. Tomorrow, one of the more quieter tracks, very Celtic, got a really nice bass line. It's got some Uranian pipes on it as well, so this really gives it that Celtic edge. Really good track. Then we get the title track, October. I love this. It's Edge on the piano. It's a lovely piece of music. And then we get With a Shout, in brackets, Juice Jerusalem. Very Celtic rock again. Great track. Stranger in a Strange Land, nothing to do with Iron Maiden. Another good track though. The bass line from Adam on this is fantastic. It's another one of those forgotten tracks by U2, and it's really good. Scarlet. This is Adam Clayton and Larry Mullen really getting into the groove. You got some nice little guitar bits from The Edge. Solid track. Is That All? This just ends with a great little rocker. More fantastic drumming from Larry Mullen. A really good album. This one that's always forgotten, because it's sandwiched between the debut and War. People forget about this one, but this is a great little album, and I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 9.5. So coming in at number 5, we do have the debut album released in 1980, Boy. Opens up with the classic I Will Follow. Love this track, always have. It's hard, it's heavy, it's brilliant stuff. Twilight, I love the guitar work in this. It's little twinkly guitar work and nice bass line from Adam Clayton. Then we get, now my Gaelic isn't very good and I'll probably get slaughtered by Mastermind Dave. And Cat Dunbar, I'm sure he'll correct me. It's a very eerie track. It's got a lot of atmosphere and a great guitar work from The Edge, really good. Into the Heart, pretty solid track again, some really nice good guitar work from The Edge, like that track a lot. Out of Control, one of my favourite tracks on the album. Love the driving bass from Mr. Clayton. Mr. Mullen's drums are good on this, sounds great. Sounds really good under headphones as well. Stories for Boys, another solid track, great guitar work. The Ocean, nice little gentle short piece. A Day Without Me, great guitar riffs and a fantastic solo, really good. Another Time, Another Place, solid bass line, really solid track. And then we get The Electric Company, which is another classic from U2. Great riffs, great drumming, always a firm favourite in the old days live. And then we get Shadows and Tall Trees, probably the worst track on the album actually. I really like it. But as a debut album, it was really strong, and I love this album. I like the rawness of it and the arrogance of youth, and I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 8.8. Coming in at number 4, we have the 7th album released in 1991, Achtung Baby. Opens up with Zoo Station. Love that opening riff. Even the tinny drum production on this sounds great. I don't know why, but it just adds to the track. It's a really good track. Even better than the real thing. I love that guitar at the beginning. It is just great. Love the guitar work from The Edge on this, and a fine vocal from Bono. Terrific stuff. Then we get a real classic one. Love this. Great vocal from Bono. It's just one of them classic tracks. Until the End of the World, again a bit of the freaky guitar at the beginning. The bass line though from Adam Clayton is just strong as you get. This is one of my favourite tracks on the album. Who's Gonna Ride Your White Horses? I'm not very keen on this. I never really got into this. I don't know why, but it just didn't tick my boxes. So Cruel, some lovely piano on this. I love thing. This is where I think the track that they really started to change their direction. But I do like this track. Then we get the brilliant Fly. First time I heard this one, wow, this is heavy. And I love Bono's vocals, especially them silhouetto, you know, that real high pitch sound. Really good track. I like that, and I still love that track today, even though he doesn't hit the notes live, but it's still a great track. Mysterious Ways, another of those little catchy tunes. Great vocal from Bono. Trying to Throw Your Arms Around the World. That's just trying to repeat With or Without You. Didn't quite work. Ultraviolet, solid track. Great guitar work from The Edge. Acrobat. I think this has got some really good textures from The Edge. Really good. And the last track, Love Is Mindless, quite eerie sound, atmospheric, some nice textures and a great bass line. This is a cracking album. You know, this is the album that they really started changing their sound, but I think they went too far with the next album. I like this album. I think they should, if they'd just stayed like this and not gone to experimentation, I think they'll have had more success than what they did with that weird. But I'd say this is truly the last of the great U2 albums, and I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 9 out of 10. Need another drink. Okay, then coming in at number 3, we have the 4th album, released in 1984, The Unforgettable Fire. Remember getting this? Good grief. First track, A Sort of Homecoming. This track is so much of that sort of Celtic sound that U2 had. It is really terrific. Love that. Then we get the brilliant Pride in the Name of Love. One of their best songs. I love that chunky sounding guitar that you get from The Edge on this, and a boombastic vocal from Bono on that. It is an amazing track. Wire, probably the weakest track on here. I never really got into this. I still try to now, and I just can't. I thought of getting older you'll more appreciate what they were doing, but no, I just don't get on with that one. The Unforgettable Fire. Rewind Iain. The Unforgettable Fire. This is a good track. All these bands at the time, these sort of rocky sort of bands like Simple Minds, Big Country, U2, they all had this really nice sound, and this is one of them songs that's up there with some of that great stuff. I like that track a lot. Promenade. This is a nice gentle track, very pleasant. Like the gentle guitar work from The Edge, really good. 4th of July, crunching bass line from Adam Clayton. The keyboard adds to this, it gives it extra depth. Atmospheric instrumental track, really good. Then we get my favourite track ever by U2, Bad. It's just something about this song. I think the best live version of this is the version they did at Live Aid. It's just brilliant. Then we get Indian Summer Sky. This is brilliant. The bass line from Adam is just terrific. The drums sound brilliant. And that raspy guitar from the Edge on this is terrific. Then we get Elvis Presley and America. It's okay. It's not probably my favourite track on the album. Then we get MLK. This is a lovely tribute to Martin Luther King. The vocal on this is really good, and I do like this tribute to him. Very nice, solid album. Got some great tracks on there. Obviously it's got my favourite track of all time on it. So I'll give this an RTO ranking of 9.2. Coming in number 2 then, we have the third album, released in 1983, War, and we got some extra people on this one. We've got Kenny Fradley on the trumpet on Red Light, Steve Wickham electric violin on Sunday, Bloody Sunday and Drowning Man, and then the Coconuts did some backing vocals as well. Opens up with Sunday Bloody Sunday. I like this track, it's one of my favourite tracks. I love the drumming from Larry Mullen on this. Okay, forget what it's about. You know, that's history. We can't change history. But the song is great. A lot of people think this, they shouldn't play this, blah blah blah. But it's one of their classics. You can't not play it. I mean, they've started playing it again, which I think is great. But I do like it. Seconds, love the drumming and bass on this. It's amazing. It's near enough rap without being rap. But it's a great little tune. Then we get a classic, my favourite on the album, New Year's Day. Love this. I love the piano on this. A lot of bands have tried to copy that sound, and they sort of started a bit of a revolution with that sound. So it's a great track. Like a Song. Bono's vocals on this are terrific, and I love Larry Mullen's drumming on that. It's tremendous. Drowning Man, again one of my favourite tracks. Love the combination of the guitars and keyboard on this. It really works well. So eerie with that violin. Terrific. The Refugee. The drumming on this is brilliant. It sounds something like that should have been on an Adam and the Ants album of the time. Brilliant. I love it. I think that drum is so boomy. I love that track. The Heart Beats as One. Some energy in this. Ferocious drumming from Larry Mullen. The booming bass line and that chinky sounding guitar that the Edge managed to do. Great vocal from Bono. Terrific song. Red Light. Probably the only track on here I don't really like. Surrender. Lyrically I'm not keen on it, but the music is great. The music side of it is brilliant. The guitars and drums sound brilliant. And the album ends up with 40. Love the live version of this. It goes on and the fans get involved. Great way to end the album. Really enjoyable album. There's lots of great songs on here. I think The Edge and Adam Clayton are great through this album. And I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9.3. So my number one, if you haven't guessed, and you should know this because we featured it on a classic album a few months ago, always been my favourite U2 album. Easy. When we said right, we're doing this ranking, first one that went to the top of the pile was the fifth album, released in 1987, and it's the magnificent The Joshua Tree. Opens up with Where the Streets Have No Name, one of the best starts of any record. The keyboards, that chinky guitar come in from the Edge, really builds up and builds up. It's a terrific track. Then we get I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For. Very, very catchy tune. Like the vocal on this. Terrific song. With or Without You, one of my favourite songs on this album. I love Adam Clayton's bass line. It's deep, it's atmospheric, and you get them little nice touches from the Edge, and Bono's voice sounds awesome on this. Then we get my favourite song on the album, my second favourite song by U2, Bullet the Blue Sky. I love this. One of Bono's finest vocals. The guitar work from the Edges on this is killer. Great stuff. I love this track to death. It sounds even better live. I mean, on that, the Joshua Tree Extended, the live version on that is amazing. The one on the Rattle and Hum's good because you get the Star Spangled Banner. Terrific track. Running to Stand Still. Again, love this song. Very gentle, but it's a great song. Red Hill Mining Town, another solid track. Great guitar work, great vocal from Bono. In God's Country, I think this is some of the Edge's finest guitar work. Absolutely brilliant little track. Trip Through Your Wires, love the drumming from Larry Mullen. Great harmonica from Bono on this. Terrific stuff. One Tree Hill. The guitar on this is so pastiche. Excellent track. Exit, atmospheric. Great guitar work. Larry Mullen's drumming on this is brilliant. Mothers of the Disappeared, another moving track. It's quite long, it's eerie, and a great vocal from Bono. Great way to end the album. Solid album from top to bottom. Not a bad track on this one. One of the best albums from the 80s. It's got none of that clean edged production from the 80s. It's raw, it sounds proper rock, and I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9.5 because it is a terrific album. Okay, that's all for today because these long ones take a long time to put together and render and upload and all that, so that's why we only have the one on the Wednesday. Now, if this is the first time you've watched us, hope you've enjoyed it. We do things a little bit different than everyone else, but if we all were the same, life would be pretty boring. But if you like what we do, you know what you need to do. Give me a thumbs up, make a comment if you want, but most importantly, subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss out. So what have we got for you tomorrow? Well, it's Battle of the Debuts, and tomorrow we've got two Britpop bands that always said they were better than each other. There was a lot of bad taste between them. We're talking about Blur and Oasis, so we'll be looking at their debut albums and finding out which is their best, the best one out of them two. Tomorrow's album artwork, of course, we have got another legend, national treasure. We're looking at the album artwork of Mr. Ozzy Osbourne. And then don't forget, tomorrow it's live stream at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. So join us for that. Until then, bye for now.